welcome back to my channel. Today I'm taking you through another topic, no demonstrations, just me chatting. So I'm going to tell you how I am frugal, what it actually means to me, and how my frugality led me to be able to retire comfortably at 49 last June. So we can all do it, and it's just something to work towards. It's never too late to start, so let's get at it. Hi, today I want to talk to you about being frugal. Now, to me, frugal does not mean being stingy or depriving yourself of certain things, okay? You do see a lot of videos on YouTube and people will tell you to stop buying certain things, to stop treating yourself, to reuse your tea bags. I mean, come on. We're not going to do things like that there. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about how you can save a bit of money and put that money to good use in either paying off some debt or saving for something that you really want. So, debt, we all have it, or most of us all have it anyway. We have a mortgage, we have car payments, we have credit card bills, we maybe have overdrafts. And realistically, what we want to do is to try and cut back a little bit so that we can save that money. And in saving that money, what we're going to do is pay off these debts quicker. Okay? Then there's the other side where sometimes we really want something, haven't got the money to pay for it. So again, if we're a little bit frugal and we put certain methods into place and start saving a little bit of money, we can save a deposit for that car, we can save for a holiday, we can save for a child's school trip, or even just recreational activities that you or your children want to do. And that way you're not putting it on a credit card. So it's always good to have a little bit of savings. I always maintain that when you get your wages, your salary, whatever, when you get your money, that you separate what you need for your bills, and then you look at it and see if there are ways that you can actually cut back. You must always, every week, put a little bit of money aside. And it doesn't matter whether it's £5 or whether it's £50 or £500. I don't know what your budget is. But the fact of the matter is, put a little away every week and you will soon see it amount up into a nice little amount that will pay for something that you really, really want. So, a little bit of history. I did this. I was frugal and saved, and we went through hard times, just like everybody in the recession. My husband took sick and he was off work for a long time. So we didn't have a lot of money coming in, but we kept the roof over our head. I still managed to save a little bit of money, and in doing so, eventually we came out the other end. We didn't suffer. We still had a good life, but the fact of the matter is just watching the pennies and enjoying the pounds is what you really want to do. So with money that I had saved, we were able to invest in some property. Luckily enough, the properties were slightly run down, so we had enough money to buy them outright, and we bought our first one. Then we renovated it. We used it for a bit. We rented it out. We then saved more money and bought the property next door. At this stage it had gone up in price, so we ended up paying a bit more for it, but we did the same thing. We renovated and then we rented it all the time. From that, the rent covered our expenses with maintenance fees and taxes, and also paid for any money that we had paid out for the renovations that we'd done and the furniture that we'd bought, etc. Then we decided the time was right to sell. But what we did again was we cut out the middleman, so there was no estate agent. With all the sites that you have today on the internet, there's nothing stopping you from signing up to one or two of these sites. You'll pay a bulk fee and that's it. You're finished. No more fees after that, no percentage of your sale. So it's brilliant. Once you've paid that amount of money, that's it. It's done and dusted. This is what I did, and I put one property on the market with the intention of selling the one property. We were very fortunate, I have to say, in that we got really good properties. They were apartments that were on the seafront. They had a bit of outside space to them that you could sit and enjoy and watch over the sea, etc. So we had many inquiries, and eventually we sold that property for twice what we paid for it. Then we had another inquiry a week later, or several more, but one in particular really wanted the property. So we decided that we would sell our first property, which was originally ours, and then we rented a bit just to cover some expenses. But we seen the potential, and believe it or not, the money that we made actually ended up being 3 times what we paid for this particular property. So we did so well, and it meant that we had a few bills. We paid off those few bills, and in June last year I was self-employed. I had a business, and that business was becoming tough because it was working with children and all the laws now around children. It just wasn't enjoyable anymore. There was more paperwork than anything. And my husband and I talked, and I was able to retire at 49. And one of the main reasons for that also was that our daughter was starting secondary school. She's now 12, and I wanted to be there for her and make sure that I was at home and not teaching while she had come home from school, because most of my work took place after school hours. So this was a great advantage to us, and this all started from being frugal and saving some money, and that left us that we are now financially sound. But I will continue to be frugal, because that money now has to see me through retirement. Unfortunately, my poor husband's still out working, but he doesn't mind that. He was happy to do that. So we all have to start somewhere. What I'm saying is, start by putting a little away every week. My mother taught me this, and I live by it. And I thank her for it, because it has got us to where we are today. We don't lose out. We holiday. 2, 3 times a year, 4 times sometimes, to foreign countries. We holiday locally, we stay in hotels, we have little breaks. We have what we think is a wonderful life. We both have our cars, they're bought and paid for, and we haven't done anything amazing, only been frugal and spent that money wisely. Okay, so what I'm saying is take your bills and try and have a look through those bills and see how you can cut back. Now, instantly I can tell you that one of those bills is a grocery bill. And there are ways for you to cut back on that. And I'm not saying to cut out all the delicious, nice things that you buy, or you have to go really cheapy cheap. But certain products are all made in the one factory. And you only have to look at a label and see that those products that are 2 different prices are made in the same factory, which means it's the same product, it just has 2 different packagings on it, which results in 2 different prices. Okay, so which are you going to lift? It's the same food. So you take the cheaper one. And don't worry about who's looking in your basket. Just say to yourself, well, I've saved 50p, I've saved £1, I've saved whatever. And if you do this several times, if you buy the likes of loose veg, it's actually cheaper to buy loose veg than it is to buy packed veg. So just go and buy, pick the vegetables that you want. And actually that's even better because you get to choose the size and the quality of what you're actually buying and not what has been lying in a bag for several days. It's the same with meat. Go to the butchery counter or look at the meat that is going out of date. It's often reduced, and sometimes in certain supermarkets it's greatly reduced. Put it in the freezer. As long as it hasn't actually gone out of date, well then there's nothing stopping you from buying it. It's still perfectly safe to eat, but it's half the price. So you can buy it, you can use it that day, or you can put it into your freezer. And if it's 5 or 6 items in the one tray and you don't need 5 or 6 items for one meal, divide it up and put it into the freezer that way. All right, just by putting it into little freezer bags. So there's lots and lots of ways. I have done a video on freezing bulk bought meat. I bulk buy chicken, I bulk buy bacon, I bulk buy sausages, anything that I can get my hands on. You can freeze cheese, believe it or not. Better to freeze the grated cheese than it is whole cheese, but you can actually freeze cheese. There's very little you cannot freeze, and if you go on the internet you'll find that out. So there's very little food will go off. So cut back on your groceries. Forget what the label looks like. If it's the same product in 2 tins that are labeled different and priced completely different, buy the cheaper one. Or the same pack, whatever. Same box, you name it. Cereal, often the same. Another thing is medication. We all go out and we buy paracetamol, ibuprofen, cold medicines, stuff like that there. If you check on the back of them, there is a batch number. Check that batch number. And if it's the same on 2 different packets, yet they're 2 different prices, It's actually the same medicine made in the same place, just in 2 different packages. And again, one's cheap, one's expensive. So think about it, buy the cheaper one. Plainer packaging costs less. White packaging costs less. So have a think when you're shopping, when you're going to pick something off the shelf, and make sure that you take what is cheaper. And that way you will be surprised at what you will save. So I would love to hear if you save anything. So please let me know. Don't be afraid to put something in the comments. I would love to be able to respond to some of you. And there's a wee subscribe button right down there. Maybe if you hit it, you'll get a few more ideas and tips. So just remember, frugal isn't cheap and nasty. Frugal is finding ways to save the pennies so you can enjoy the pounds. All right? Now, I actually have plenty more tips and ideas, but I felt this video is long enough and it just gives you a little starting point. And I will actually record more videos just on simple little things that you can do to save more money. So always keep an eye out, and as I said, if you subscribe, these videos you'll be notified of the videos and as they come up, and it would be a great help to me and a great help to hear if you have any ideas or tips, and if there's any advice that I can give you that can help you on your way to leading a more frugal life. So, as I said again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's just down there. All right, and help me out.